Hey guys, I wanted to make a pretty fun video today. I'm going to be making a tier list on items, looking at them through the eyes of a tank player. Now, as someone who's competed at a high level and won 3 professional tournaments, including the EOS Cup, I figure I have a lot of knowledge to offer you guys here. So I hope this helps you pick your tank items a little better, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hey guys, so today we're doing a tank item tier list. This is essentially what it sounds like. Items through the eyes of a tank player, and hopefully it helps you pick which items you should be running on your tanks in which kind of situations. Now the tiers are a little different in this one. We've got can't go wrong. Essentially, if you pick this, it can't really go badly. Niche, more situational items. Offensive, this is more for your offensive tanks, like Mammoth Swine, Trevenant, those kind of builds. And decent is you can run it, but it's not the best. And then we've got meme, which is like your troll build you shouldn't really be running. So let's start off. Attack weight's the first one on the list, and I'm gonna throw this in the offensive style right here. I think that the attack weight is actually a really good item on Mammoth Swine. It's a really good item on Trevenant, and it's a really good item on Greedent. It's really good on certain tanks, your offensive tanks. If you're looking to do damage, this is probably your go-to item choice. Now, you can stack fairly easily on tanks as well, especially things like Greedent. You can really stack and get out. It gives you a lot of potential to do damage where these characters will otherwise fall a little bit short, and it's kind of why you want to be playing them. So I think attack weight is definitely something I would recommend in the offensive slot for your tanks if you're running an offensive tank. Body barrier would just be a can't go wrong item. You could throw body barrier on any tank. It would never be the worst item, would never be bad. It would always be good, and that's why this goes up here in the can't go wrong category. If you're playing Snorlax, body barrier is just amazing for giving you an extra shield and helping an ally, and that's where this item really comes in. As a tank, one of your jobs is to peel and protect your allies, even if you're more of a damaged tank. So you never really can go wrong with body barrier. I don't run it on all of my builds, of course, but if I'm playing something like Snorlax, I'm definitely running this, and it essentially is just a really good item in saving an ally. Float Stone. Honestly, I want to put this in niche because like sometimes Greedents run it, but even then I don't even think it's that good on your tanks specifically, because there's, I think maybe Crosshair, Greedent. It's hard. I guess niche, because Crosshair and Greedent can have some specific niche scoring builds with this item, some invade builds with this item, which makes it work. Otherwise, I would throw it in meme. If you're not running it in one of those specific situations, it goes in the meme category for me, always. I think Floatstone's movement speed can be beneficial in situations where you're looking to invade or looking to split, push, and score, but there's usually a better in-slot item in most situations. It's here in niche because it is quite situational. Score Shield. Decent. So this doesn't mean worse than these, by the way. The category is just kind of labeled, and I hope the descriptions at the beginning helped. So decent means you can run it, but there's better options. So Score Shield may come in clutch at the end of a game. It may win you a game by having it, but you're probably better off if you had something else in that slot, because even though Score Shield is decent to getting a score in, it's just not what it used to be after all of the nerfs that it's received. The cooldown is far too long, and it's hard to get the value out of this item. The same thing goes for EOS Cookie. I think EOS Cookie, again, is decent. You can run this item, but it's not amazing. EOS Cookie is good, but there are other items in the slot that you may want to fit in there, because you don't really want to be running this. If you're running a more defensive tank, there are just better and safer options, especially for the laning. And if you're running an offensive tank, putting something like attack weight and EOS Cookie on puts you in the situation where now you have 2 stacking items. And you may think, if I'm stacking 1, I may as well stack 2. They go hand in hand, and that's true, but what if your game goes wrong and you don't get your stacks? Now, not only is one of your items not participating, 2 of them don't even really exist. And that's a situation you really do not want to be in, especially as a tank who can fall behind. Your role is not really going to be steamrolling and being ahead in XP. You're going to kind of fall behind a little, and having 2 inactive items is just, it's too big a risk to really take. Exp Share goes in the niche category over here. So Exp Share is an item that's actually quite good, but you only use it on specific comps on your tanks. Now, if you want to do something like a Snorlax splitting XP with somebody and you want that person to get a little more out of it, then you run the Exp Share, but it's only to benefit that specific laner. It's not to make Snorlax better. You run this on your tanks to help in certain team situations. You wouldn't run this in solo queue unless you're doing some meme invade builds with the Exp Share and the Float Stone. Energy Amp. I borderline want to put this in meme, but if you're playing something like Mime, it can be decent, and on Slowbro, there's like arguments for it, but I think I'm gonna... It's too niche for the niche category. It's like good on like 1 Pokemon maybe. So I guess I'm gonna put it in like the meme area, because something has to go in here, and it's too niche. It's Energy Amp is like, no, you know what? No, because it's not terrible on like Blastoise, it's okay on Slowbro for the cooldown, it's decent on Mime, it's okay on enough things that play the tank role that you can warrant putting it in the niche category, but don't pick Amp unless you're picking it for a specific reason. If you pick Amp, it's because I want to do exactly this. I want to KO this exact Pokemon with my Unite. For that I need Amp, and my team struggles with that without me. I want to have this extra amount of Unite, so I can Unite around this point of the game, so I run Amp. You don't just pick Amp for flashy Amp. You pick it for a reason, so I guess, yeah, niche, but very, very niche. Assault Vest is just decent. And with Draft coming, it's going to probably go up in like the can't go wrong category. Assault Vest is just a really, really good item going into special attackers. When the meta is really special attacker heavy, like when it was Mew Mime Glaceon, everyone was running Assault Vest because it actually helped in that situation. The only reason it doesn't go and can't go wrong is because you can't know when to pick it. If you pick this and you're versing 4 all-rounders and a Dodrio or something, you're just not going to get any value out of the item. But when Draft comes around, I assume it's going to go up to the can't go wrong category. And right now, I think it's just a fairly decent item. Focus Band is a can't go wrong for me. If you pick Focus Band on a tank, you're gonna get value out of it. It's gonna help you in the lane, it's gonna help you throughout the game, and you actually get decent benefit out of this late because you have a lot of health as a tank. So Focus Band is a really, really good item for tanks, and honestly, if you run like say Buddy Focus and anything else in the third slot, you've got a fairly decent tank build going off the bat there. So fairly good. Leftovers is a meme. Don't run this. The item is a bait. You read the description as a tank, you probably think, wow, that sounds really, really good. It's just not. It doesn't do enough. It's just not very good. And yeah, I just don't think it's very good. And I don't think you should be running Leftovers. The passive takes too long and it doesn't heal enough to warrant it being used. Muscle Band, this goes on the niche category because it's not ideal. So I would say offensive, right? Maybe offensive, because the niche it's on is offensive mons, right? So if you're going to run this Muscle Band, it's usually taking a kind of a slot. It's not the best in slot offensive item, but it does have a place. If you run this on Mamoswine, you get a lot of value out of it, but it's not the go-to build. If you're on Trevenant, you get quite a bit of value out of it as well, especially with the Unite. So I think it's definitely got its place. It's better than niche because it's the niche in offense, I guess. So it goes in the offensive category, even though it's kind of niche. Rocky Helmet, never use it. Garbage item. Rocky Helmet needs some love. It's gotten love. It's gotten a couple buffs, but it just is not it. It's just not it. I'm sorry, but Rocky Helmet is a lacking. It's too much damage to do to something like a defender. If you're hitting a defender for that much burst to proc its passive, it feels like that's too much damage if you take in one hit to do such a small amount, like 5% of that squishy's health. Like, run a better item. It's just not it. It's just really, really not it. Scope is a meme. Look, I would say niche because X is a crossel, maybe you run Scope on, maybe, right? If you're having fun and doing a damage build. But even then, Scope is a meme, except on a very, very particular situation, but that's too niche to be niche. No, we're not doing that. Scope is a meme. Don't run crit on your tanks. Shell Bell, again, meme. Don't run Shell Bell on your tanks. It's not good. Shell Bell Slowbro is not OP. You're wrong. It's not good. Don't run Shell Bell on your tanks. Pretty please. All right, this is again an offensive. If you're running Mime, if you're running Slowbro, if you're looking to get some damage on Blastoise, this is your stacking item that you'd run again. It's just for the special attack ones. This is what you would run on those. So yes, very, very good item in that sense. Wise Glasses. Wise Glasses will go, I guess, inoffensive, but on the lower end, right? You could run this on offensive tanks like the special attackers, but on the lower end, it's really, really just not as good. It's really not as good. This list I'm using, I've just realized, doesn't have Choice Specs, Weakness Policy, and Razor Claw because it's very old. So I'm going to insert them here in post, and I'm just going to talk about them and where I'll put them. So Choice Specs will go in the offensive. It would likely go in between the Wise Glasses and, you know, well, this isn't an order, let's be real. It'll go in the offensive. Choice Specs is pretty solid. I use it on Wiggly a lot. I use it on Slowbro quite a bit, and what it does is it helps you get that secure in lane by doing that little bit of extra damage. So Choice Specs is actually a really, really good choice. Weakness Policy will go on the offensive. That is a really, really good item. A really good item that you'll be using for things like Mamoswine and Trevenant to get more damage. Any tank you want more damage on, Weakness Policy is like your safest bet, and it's really, really solid. Razor Claw will go in the meme category, just like Scope Langs, because let's be real, it's a crit item. You're not running crit on your tanks. You're just not, unless you're memeing and having fun, which is okay, but it's still a meme. We'll go through the battle items. Now, X Speed, Can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with X speed, honestly. X attack is a meme. You're memeing. You're having fun, but you're being a meme. Slow smoke, super niche. Super niche on specific characters and specific comps, but still not really that great. Full heal on tanks, you're a meme. Don't run that. Fluffy tail on tanks, super niche. Maybe stealth rock crosshair and green it. So that's acceptable. So we can put it in niche. Goal getter, super niche on scoring comps. If you're going to go crosshair or Greedent and you want to goal get a score. Eject button, can't really go wrong. Really can't go wrong with eject button. And potion is decent. So I hope this was helpful. This is what is essentially, to me, the tank item tier list. You can't really go wrong running buddy and focus on a tank. If you want to throw in a niche item for the tank that it is, or an offensive item, or if you want to go all offensive, or if you want to go just, throw on a decent item in there as well. You can even throw in a meme item, it'll kind of work, but please don't. This is how I see the tank items at the moment, and I hope this was helpful to you guys in figuring out your tanks. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.